Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/bonfireside chat. There are over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name's Kole Ross.
And I'm Levi Curran.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat Appendix, an undead second favorite.
And we are continuing our discussion of Sen's Fortress, although we're going to begin this with some errata about previous episodes.
Yep, we get a lot of things wrong, and we invite you to correct us. And that is what you've done. So I'll go ahead and start us off here with Sarah Justice, which is a fucking superhero name if I've ever heard one. And she says via Facebook, a couple of things. The set that you find near the Remedy Sorcery is the Sealer set, not the Channeler set. Also, you're correct when you say that Laurentius was in the depths to get to Blighttown. And of all the people to tell you this, the Crestfallen Warrior mentions it if you talk to him enough times. I know that's the Sealer set. For some reason, I think one of us started saying Channeler, and then we all just went along with it, some kind of Salem Witch Trial mass ergot hallucination. We just went along with it. I think one person says it first, and we all just kind of went with it.
Yeah, it was a mass hysteria.
Yeah,
I think that we just have channelers on the mind. Do we have channelers on the mind, Levi? Because it's all we ever talk about.
It's a theme every episode.
All channelers all the time.
Channelers and Seath.
Yeah, Seath.
Watch out for crazy dances.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's especially important to work on that now that we've finished our episode on Channeler's Fortress.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the next comment, Levi?
That was stupid.
Sure. Nate says via comment, Shiva of the East is supposedly looking for the Chaos Blade, a weapon that you can make from Quelaag's soul. This is alluded to in dialogue with Alvina.
I have not heard that dialogue.
Nor have I. I'm sure it is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cut. I feel like I have listened to Shiva's dialogue that was at some point, but I don't remember this specifically. And I thought it was from cut dialogue. I know that he had more quest stuff to him that was not implemented in the game. But
it would make sense. He's a purveyor of curved blades, and Quelaag's Fury Sword is a curved blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you read Chandler's comment?
Jesus, Gary, come on.
Sorry.
So Drugels via the comment section on our website, Duckfeed.tv, begins with a quote: "The flow of time itself is convoluted." He says, or she, I don't know, "I think Blighttown is/was the Great Swamp. You pretty much gave most of the evidence in this episode, including Aingi being cast out by the other pyromancers for his use of poison. As you said, it takes a lot to make pyromancers shun you, i.e. poisoning the Great Swamp. Also, Laurentius was referring to the butcher who was up on the rafters waiting to drop down on you. This was confirmed in a dev interview, along with the fact that both butchers are females. I would like to see that dev interview. I am not calling you into question, although I am a person who loves the citations."
Yeah, maybe the interviewer said it. I still don't like it very much. It seems, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like saying this door is a window, Yeah.
All that I can think of is the incredibly sexist nature of video games. So they made Mildred, right? Obviously a butcher in training based on her headwear and the butcher's blade that she wears. She had to be PC generated, right? From the various parts that you can do. They gave her the heavier build. Right, which is more approximate of an actual human being, not a video game female, right? And so, I can't help but read that, in my, crazy, white male feminist way as being like, oh, she was heavier, so she's obviously in a transition to being a gigantic troll butcher beast.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure none of that stuff's intended.
Yeah, I know.
to it. Like, I don't think that's on their mind, but like,
I know.
I would rather have her just be a female version of the Butchers. Like, it just makes more sense to me on a gut level.
Yeah.
The idea about Blighttown being the Great Swamp and time being convoluted is interesting. I don't know though, because the way that Laurentius talks about the Great Swamp makes it seem like a distant place, more distant than like where, because he ends up essentially just upstairs from it.
Yeah.
You know, that's not. I mean, it's not a bad idea, and they are really similar. It's kind of. I think that what I can take away from this is it is really weird that there is a Great Swamp that isn't Blighttown. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite convinced that they're the same thing. But it's not outside the realm of possibility.
I would have been more certain about that before the Prepare to Die edition, where Ulasil seemed like this far off distant land, but actually it was Lordran's backyard. Just displaced in time.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe. I guess that's a good point.
I'm not saying definitely, but I will say definitely maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, my least favorite album by Oasis, which is tied for last with every Oasis album. I'll read Bean Brew's comment. He says via contact, when you mentioned the effigy shield in this week's episode, I had to go look it up because I'd never found it. Its description is interesting. In an ill-fated plot to destroy the very gods, the followers of the occult once attempted to steal the power of Gravelord Nito, the first of the dead. It most obviously refers to Pinwheel and how he stole some of Nito's power, but also relates back to the occult club found with Havel's gear and why Havel might be locked in the tower. This isn't conclusive, though. If you look at the item descriptions for Havel's set, leave open the possibility that the club might belong to one of the knights that followed Havel, and not Havel himself. Havel might still be locked in the tower as a result of the plot either way, because Seath could have used the club to implicate Havel in the plot, regardless of Havel's personal involvement. Personally, I prefer to think that it is Havel's club because it illustrates how nearly everyone in Lordran is power hungry.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read the description on the shield, but I am hungry for like lore about Pinwheel, so I like that. Because we learned so little about Pinwheel.
Right. Except that he's really, really easy to fight, and he somehow has the right of kindling. And we never really learn why on either of those cases. But I never thought about tying it into, because they do call it, the followers of the occult, which I guess the nearest lore, that has lore connections to the Painted World and to Anor Londo via Havel. So That's interesting. There could definitely be a connection there. Yeah, I don't know how willing I am to believe that there is like an evidence planting plot.
I mean, there's just I don't know if there's enough there for it other than the fact that they have a rivalry.
Right.
But the shield bit is definitely interesting. And the, Havel being in on the plot, I'm pretty into. The other thing you can think of is that, the club maybe didn't belong to him, but his armor is also hidden in that area.
Yeah.
And the very fact that it's hidden in like a sub-basement of his room with all his secret stash also says something about it.
Right. We'll get to that the next episode.
Yeah.
Yep. Levi, what does Chase have to say?
Chase says via contact, on the subject of Blighttown, I have some advice for dealing with the mosquitoes. Throwing knives. Seriously. 10 souls each, lock onto one, it's dead in one hit. I bought about 100 when I was having trouble with them, and still have plenty of knives for when I go back down to get more pyro spells. Gary, the black/gray mist around your head, is humanity gained. I have that from time to time, and I play offline, so it isn't likely to have anything. It isn't likely anything to do with online multiplayer. I've got to say that the knives idea is great.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to try the next time I go through there because that sounds fantastic for those terrible things.
Yeah, and it would be a good use for throwing knives, which I almost never use.
Unless you need 5 for a speedrun.
Yeah, exactly. 5 is the magic number for speedruns for some crazy reason.
What?
I knew. Yeah, you got to watch one of these speedruns, Cole. Like it's pretty. Like, I mean, you got to get Souls Bowl. I know that you, with your crazy fun drinking friends, were probably having regular St. Patrick's Day.
No, I was moving. I was putting small stuff into slightly larger boxes.
Well, next time you do that, do it with a speed run on, because it's a pretty interesting way to look at the game. I knew that the black gray mist was humanity. I was asking about the glowing mist. I think I said that, but maybe I phrased it weirdly. So I knew that was humanity, but I don't know what the golden glow that you can get is.
Yeah.
And I think that's someone kindling a bonfire is what we thought it would be.
I put that in because I assume that we are wrong about everything.
Yeah, I mean, I might have said it wrong, but I do know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good tip on throwing knives.
Yeah, for real. Finally a use for them.
Yeah.
Nate, via the comment section on an older episode, but it's not just the previous one. He says, or she, I don't know, the Taurus demon cannot be kicked off of the bridge. However, if you fight him on the bridge near the collapsed section, he can both fall off of it and jump off of it. This is not a glitch. Much like your ability to fall attack him from the tower, this is another way to beat the boss without having to chip away at his health. Sadly, it is mostly based on positioning and luck.
Yeah, I think Tyler just said he kicked him off
I think
at
it
the
was
time.
Zach, actually.
Or Zach, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just didn't challenge him on it because we were intimidated by his awesome
Yes.
coolness.
I would march under his banner and die by his hand.
The banner of Barrelbane.
Yes.
We're going to switch up the order for the next one.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Levi, would you like to read Levi's comment?
Yes, Levi says via email that I will admit there is a high probability this is just a case of two giant slug creatures, but it may be worthy to note that the wallhugger from Blighttown reminded me of the primordial demons that appear in Demon Souls when your world tendency is completely black. And you can't see pictures through podcasts, of course, but the primordial demons are giant, kind of like larva-like things that appear in Demon Souls that drop colorless Demon Souls.
Right.
And it might have been a reference back to the same shape of creature that just hangs out there and exists pretty much stationarily.
Yeah.
Or might not.
We'll include images in the show notes. I haven't run into one of those in Demon Souls. I've never gotten to pure black tendency, I guess. But I could definitely see it. I looked up this image in your email and could definitely see it.
Yeah.
Especially knowing how much of Dark Souls just are callbacks and references to Demon Souls.
So unsettling. I don't know what it was, but I think that the Resident Evil 2 episode of Watch Out for Fireballs awakened like a fear of insects in me that I didn't know I had.
Oh.
Especially like multiplying pervasive insects, such as like a larva would be. Looking at those primordial demons really unsettled me. Levi.
I'm gonna ship you a dozen eggs that when you crack them open, they're full of spiders.
Oh God! Oh, it's not spiders. I'm not afraid of spiders.
Oh.
And I'm not afraid of house centipedes. I recognize that you need house centipedes to kill the other bugs, but it's specifically, I don't know. I had a dream where there were these tiny little moth-like larvae that had scythe arms that were controlling my brain from inside, and I had to reach inside to pull them out, and they struggled once they hit the fresh air. It was really upsetting.
Criminy, Cole. That's a creepy image.
I know everybody likes hearing about dreams, but
I like hearing about monsters though, so it kind of balances out. I hate hearing about dreams. Love hearing about monsters.
They were very monstrous. I'm damaged, Gary. But we thank all of you for helping us come correct.
Yeah, thanks, Levi.
Yeah.
We can thank you in person.
Yeah. It's those little connections, especially when when we can bring it up later when we talk about Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're on now to your stories about Sen's Fortress.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and get us started here with Amy Holbrook. And Amy says via Facebook, my absolute favorite thing about Sen's, besides it not being Blighttown, was that despite the huge number of tries it took, by the end I could run it from the first bonfire to the top, eventually finding the second, without a scratch. I really feel like it's the best/most representative part of the game, and that I felt that real sense of progress. And death traps usually made me go, should have been more careful, and not, fuck you, Dark Souls. Months later, if I closed my eyes, I could run Sen's Fortress in my head right now.
Agreedo shot first. Spot on with all that.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Yeah. Who's next in the rotation, Gary? You are the keeper.
We kind of got. Let's go back to our old rotation. Let's have Levi go next.
Okay, so Tim Ambrosini via Facebook says, the only part I struggled with in Sins was the boulders. Touching them even while they were stopped sent you flying across the room, and the spinning mechanism resulted in hitting me a couple times after I moved it to aim outside the wall. I'm not sure who Sin is yet, but he is a dick.
That he is. Our best guess as to who Sen is, and we didn't say it in the main episode, was that he's probably someone from Gwyn's court or a general of some sort. Like,
just based on the fact that it protects Anne Orlando.
Yep.
And that he has a fortress.
Solely.
Like there's almost nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I would venture to say that there is nothing there.
Yeah, there's no explanation for it. So
it's real frustrating, especially when you're trying to chase those boulders down the switchback. You know, when they stop at the corner and then kind of like go around. Like when they're sitting still, they can hurt you a lot. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know to keep your distance, it can feel like a really unfair death. A death that's unfair even in Sen's Fortress, where a lot of the deaths can feel unfair, but they're actually not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can see it. So,
yep.
But yeah, it is frustrating. I never got hit when I was up in the control room by them, but I think that's what he's talking about, which would be a huge pain in the ass.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, yeah.
Just rotate from behind, not from front.
Yeah.
For real.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Sam Anderson via Facebook says, been waiting for Sens. When I got there and saw all the traps, I cackled wildly for a solid 10 minutes. There's just something so
10 minutes.
Let's do it now.
Yeah, let's cut in 10 minutes of cackling. All right.
There we go. Okay, you can loop that, Gary.
Yeah.
Well, like just put in the start music from Battletoads.
Or the plot music.
Yep. He continues. But the best part for me was not finding the bonfire or the shark. So let me retake that. I'm so sorry.
You're gonna call that a shortcut? Gross, dude.
No, I just
a shortcut.
A shortcut. Gross. But the best part for me was not finding the bonfire or the shortcut until my second playthrough. So I had to rerun the entire level with every death. When I finally beat the Iron Golem, without Tarkus, mind, because I didn't know about getting a helper for every boss, and went to Anne Orlando, I skittishly took the elevator down, glanced at the gargoyle, and my empty flask, and ran back up the elevator, up the stairs, down through all of Sen's Fortress again, and back to Andre's bonfire. I think this makes me the only... I think this makes me just about the only person dumb enough to run through Sen's backwards.
Well, the fact you made it alive is some sort of testament. So.
I don't think it was made to run backwards.
No. This is good work, Sam.
For real.
You missed a lot of things. You missed the shortcut and then 2 bonfires because you didn't get the Anne Orlando one either.
Yeah, for real.
Before the gargoyle.
If you're in desperation mode and you're looking for the closest safe harbor, you make really weird decisions. So I can't blame him at all.
Yeah, and if you have, he couldn't spend his souls or anything, because he was, and he just had all those Iron Golem souls.
You get
so I understand.
Many souls.
Yeah, I understand the motivation behind that, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You're stronger for it though.
Yes, you are. That's a great story. I love those responses.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Franz, via contact, says, Sen's Fortress? Screw bloody Sen's Fortress. Please tell me I get to meet Sen somewhere in the future so I can stab him again, push him into a swinging blade, stab him some more, and feed him to a Titanite demon. The Capra demon? Manageable. Depths? Not too bad. Gaping Dragon? An awesome battle. Blighttown? Fun, in a weird way. Running up a walkway with 4 blades swinging at your face with a serpent shooting lightning at you and 3 other snakes waiting on the other side? Screw that. I spent a couple of hours every morning for 2 weeks just running from Andre to that bridge. Let me take that again. I spent a couple of hours every morning for 2 weeks just running from Andre to that bridge to die there. It wasn't until I noticed I had a Balder side sword that I could upgrade to +10 that I just rushed and stabbed my way past it. There's another guy with a Balder side sword. Cool. On the other hand, Sen's Fortress was where Dark Souls came home for me. I came from Demon Souls, which for me was a game of dodging. Almost all attacks in that game could be easily rolled past. In Dark Souls, even the weakest hollow has tracking attacks, and will just stab you when you get up. The result of this is that I played most of the game hiding behind the biggest shield I can find, up until Sen's Fortress, where serpents turned out to be perfectly dodgeable. So now I'm back to quick rolling and loving every second of it. Since you seem to like invasion stories, I just had my first invasion a couple of days ago in Anne Orlando. A guy suddenly appeared in front of me, dropped a Titanite catch pole +5 and a Giant's Halberd +5, and waited for me to pick them up. I completely panicked and alt-tabbed out of the game to check to see if there was a precedent for this. When I got back to the game, everything seemed to be normal. A huge "you died" in the middle of the screen.
He got impatient. He was like, I'm going to give you this awesome stuff. Titanite catch pole, what?
Yeah, they're hard to find, unless it was a trap, because people will leave traps for that kind of thing. But people will also look kind of Santa Claus
Yeah.
things as well. So,
Oh man, that is funny. Just pick it up. Even like if you're gonna die either way, at least get the catch pole.
will they stick around? Like if he dies and goes back to the bonfire, will those things be there?
I'm not sure. I would just go for it and just try and grab it as quick as I could. I don't
Yeah,
care.
you could get one of them probably.
Yeah, go for the catch pole.
Yeah.
Like
he knows what they are, so he probably got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you can't tell what they are. They're just that swimming like ghost item thing.
Right.
So I guess they probably are there after he died.
Huh.
So good on you.
Yeah.
So I like it when invaders, if they if they're obviously stomping somebody, they leave something nice. Mm-hmm. Like if I find something I'm not going to use, and it's something nice, like I just know I'm not going to use it for the playthrough, I'll drop it when I'm sunburrowing or invading.
Right.
Like I'll drop like a Black Knight stuff.
Right.
Like if it's not going to work for my build, just because why not? Like if someone's fighting the gargoyles and they get like a Black Knight shield at that point in the game, like pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that can give them a real leg up. I mean, what are you going to do? Feed it to Fran for like 50 souls?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Add to my collection. I don't use Boundless Box. I'm not playing like fucking Inventory Management 2000. I want to fight demons. So, yeah, thanks, friends.
Yeah. And then our last response. Levi, go ahead.
All right. Tom says, via contact, so, Sin's Fortress. Much as I love Sin's Fortress and hate how well hidden the bonfire is, my most memorable moment in Sin's Fortress was actually not part of a conventional run-through its trap-filled corridors. It came much later. On my first trip to Orlando, I found my way down to the bonfire outside Gwendolyn's chamber, worked out how to get through the hidden wall using the Darkbone seance ring, and found his covenant. Later, when working on the Prayer of a Maiden trophy, I finally signed up with the Dark Moon Blades and started exacting justice on Lordran's many sinners. For listeners who are familiar with the Dark Moon Blades, you spawn into the Sinner's game as a deep blue phantom rather than the conventional red invader, and your entry into the game is not announced. Your target can notice that the fog gates have gone up, or that they can't use homeward bones, but otherwise he'll be completely oblivious until, in the words of Raz Al Ghul, you simply walk up behind them and stab them in the heart. Monsters won't attack you, and you can't damage them, so you can stalk your target through his zone, leaving no trace until you find the perfect moment to strike. One of my first Dark Moon Blade invasions dropped me off inside the top of Sin's Fortress, so I started cautiously scouting around and down until I spotted my target, relatively lightly equipped, and his heavily armed, Zweihander-toting bodyguard/partner. I kept track of them until they were coming up to the two top swing axe bridges. My target held back while his friend ventured across the first one, at which point I dropped down silently from a platform above, waited until my target stepped out on the bridge, ghosted up behind him, and backstabbed him with my lightning longsword, kicking him off the ledge to his death without being spotted once. A memorable few minutes of perfect, tense, satisfying PvP stealth gameplay, merging entirely from the mechanical depth of an action RPG.
God.
That makes that makes being a Darkmoon Blade sound fucking rad.
It does.
I've never tried it.
You're the goddamn predator is what you are.
Yeah.
I think my favorite actually, I tried once, and if you get summoned to the lava area, you just sit there and you die so easily there. You can just stand around and your invadee will die on their own, and you get souls.
Just wait for them to die from the traps.
Or nature to happen, pretty much.
Yeah.
I like that. So do fog walls not go up as a Dark Moon? I've never gotten the ring to
Yeah, they do. Fog walls go up, but your announcement does not appear. So you can see them, but if you're not near one, then you won't know.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I want to try, like, I still kind of want to try a little bit more PvP because I haven't done very much.
Yeah.
I had these plans to turn my level 1 character into a Dick Wraith, but I'd have to beat Ornstein and Smo at level 1 for that, so.
Would you?
Yeah, because I have to go. Well, no, but I want to get more powerful equipment and stuff.
Okay.
I want to beat them so I can upgrade my shit.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. I don't have to. I had to go beat the four kings, and this is going to be easier than that. So,
Yeah.
I'm relatively terrified, about doing it.
Yeah.
But
I would be too. Yeah.
yeah,
That'll be fun.
it is tough going so far. So thanks again, Tom, and thanks everybody who shared your stories. It is not too late to share stories for our next episode, which is all about Anne Orlando. So if you have stories about Anne Orlando, please go ahead and get in touch with us at www.duckfeed.tv/contact.
Yes. That is the best way to do it. So without any further ado, all the admin stuff happens in the main episode. We just really thank you for listening. Check out the Facebook group for funny videos and things like that. iTunes reviews, ratings, things. But moreover, we can remind you of who we are.
Yeah, and stay tuned for like deleted scenes and such.
Oh, yes.
In the main episode. But yeah, until next time, my name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
I am Levi Curran.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun. We had a kind of a rhythm going there for a second.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Hi, this is Gary Butterfield, interrupting the middle of this edit to do a quick special feature for this Appendix episode. I want to give 2 shout-outs to Dark Souls-related things that I love. I don't know if this will become a continuing feature, but I wanted a place to put that in. First up, if you go to www.thekindledbonfire.com, it is this artist or group that is making amazing Dark Souls-related statuary. And I got one of the last Solaris. It is amazing. I got it in the mail. I wanted to give those guys a shout-out because it's fantastic work. And it's kind of hard to find official Dark Souls merchandise. Big nerd statue, say what you will, but I love it. And the next thing they're working on... excuse me. I'm going hollow. The next thing they're working on, they released some teaser images for what it's going to be. It's a Sif statue. It looks fucking badass. So please check them out. The second thing I wanted to send a shout out to is... darksoulshaters.tumblr.com. This is a blog run by a goon, EC, and he does this is just screenshots mostly of people freaking the fuck out after Dark Souls PvP. It's really funny. It's really entertaining because people are huge babies about losing in PvP. So check that out, and now on to the second half of the episode to listen to some deleted scenes. Praise the sun.
Man, I played this during lunch today, and I'm so excited to talk about this freaking thing.
Did it make for a tense lunch?
Not really, no. It sends more than any area in the game is like a glove to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a strange analogy for it, but sure.
Well, no,
the demon ruins are a boot.
It fits like a glove. More than any other area, I think it benefits from prior experience.
Much like a glove.
Yes.
It's just like a glove. There are 5 fingers. The pinky is snakes. The ring finger is blades. And the middle finger is balls. The pointer finger is drops, and the 5th finger is the iron golem.
Yeah.
So about mimics. He's 6 fingers here.
Yeah.
6 fingers.
Like some kind of as many fingers. Well,
palm the mimic. Obviously.
Yeah, the palm is the mimic.
The palm is the mimic. So I'm glad that I got that out of the way, as opposed to being on the air when we said that, or when I said that.
I knew what you meant. I feel like you maybe were thinking of it. There's like an expression that says that a little bit better.
Yeah,
riding a bike.
It is like riding a bike, where the snakes are the pedals, the balls are the wheels, the golem is the seat.
I wish the golem was the seat. Am I right, guys?
Okay, now I'm confused.
I was trying to be sexy, but it didn't quite work. Yeah, I have a association of bicycle seats with sex that is not divorceable. So when everyone says like bicycle seat, I always just think like of people being bicycle seats and it being about being all up in taint 24/7.
I don't even know.
On Something Awful, someone started in the post your favorite board a post your favorite bad sex advice thread. It's real good. There's like a guy tells a story about he's hanging out with these like kids, and one of the kids is older, and the older kid's trying to school the younger boys, and he's like, "Hey, do you know what the most sensitive part of a woman is?" And all the guys are like, tits, and vagina. And then there's like one older kid who's like, the lips, like trying to be all sage and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the older kid leans in and whispers, "It's the chode."
Chode. Isn't that the male specific version of the taint?
I thought the males just had taints. I don't.
Huh.
It's a good question.
Yeah, no, I've always in my vernacular in my middle school growing up, it was the grundle that was the female version of that,
and not just like the troll that took your lunch money on the way to work at school every day.
The grundle was the female taint. Taint was the gender neutral, and the nacho was the guys. As
it wasn't the chode.
As in not nacho balls and nacho ass.
Gotcha.
Also, we were the whitest high school imaginable, so yeah. So I don't know. Chode didn't factor in. Chode was a general purpose term for somebody who was a douchebag.
Mm. There's the Starjammers, who are Cyclops' dad in X-Men. He hangs around with a bunch of aliens, one of which is called Chode.
Chode.
Yeah, it just seemed like a glaring oversight to me.
That's pretty good. I like that. No, there's a similar thread in GBS on Something Awful that is give Cosmo sex advice, which it's all a bunch of one sentence answers that some of them are trying too hard to be funny, but other ones are little bits of genius, such as punch him in the cock, comma just right in the cock, things like that. God, I love Something Awful. It makes work bearable.
That is how I met Levi as well.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
It's true.
Yep.
So you are both Portland goons.
Yes.
Yes.
Oregoons is what we're called.
Oregoons. Okay, cool. And Gary and I met on Something Awful as well.
So we heard from the podcast.
Yes,
Well, we bring it up a lot.
we do. No, it's funny. On one episode, somebody else, Zach, he was on the Undead Berg episode. He commented like Something Awful has been such a force for good in all of our lives, right?
Yeah,
It kind of has been, yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly enough.
that's how I met Nick as well. I've never seen you post on there though before. Levi, has that been a thing, or are you mostly
big poster? I'm more of a reader women board deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel compelled to contribute.
Yeah.
There's enough of that.
Well, that's the kind of moxie that made me want to get you on this show. As a board reader.
A noted lurker. Yeah. No, that's
Lurker. That's the Grundle.
Oh, wow.
He's a noted lurker.
The Lurking Grundle. That's my favorite pub.
Yeah.
You want to go down to the Lurking Grundle for a couple of pints?
Ugh. Pints of what? Like.
I'm an avid listener. So.
First time long time listener, first time on.
Yes. First time honor.
First time honor, yes.
There's no first time for honor, Levi. You're on.
Well, we are honored to have you. Yes.
We're each honored.
After Nick, I don't want to take anything for granted. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure everybody is on
You're being
the same.
thorough. It's good.
I have this laminated on a placard above my monitor that I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good call.
Yes.
Speaking of which, being thorough, I'm going to start up my backup recording too. I almost
He's
forgot.
a good man and thorough.
Yes. I do want to start recording this call. No, I don't want to check for updates.
You know, I miss the English lady.
Yeah, I didn't turn her off. She just doesn't pop up anymore.
Well, she just doesn't like me is the thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stuck-up harlot.
Yeah, well, you know, I actually have a way to end you being sexist against the computer program I used to record.
Well, like it's funny.
Campbell is a stuck-up harlot, and Excel's a real douchebag.
See, it's funny because I realized I was headed in a bad direction when I said stuck up. So harlot was the least harsh word that I could land on, to where I could still make the joke, but not feel terrible about myself. Still sexist, but like for some reason, harlot is the word that I feel best about in that instance, because it ascribes promiscuity to a computer construct.
Yes, because being sex shaming is more acceptable than.
You know who I blame, Gary?
The victim. Not society. The victim.
Yeah.
What's your favorite slur for a woman, Levi?
I don't know. I can think of the one.
Well, what's in the notes?
Is it really?
No, no, it's not.
Is it frompt? Is that my slur?
Frompt.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh no.
Prompt. Yeah, pretty fun.
Yeah.
Can't you attack the barrels anyway?
You could, but he's playing along.
Well, if you're playing along, great, but I wouldn't trust everyone to do so.
I think they set it up ahead of time. I think that they probably knew each other.
Okay.
Like at some point. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I would be a cornered rat in that situation if I was invaded by 3 people. It's like, ah.
Well, you can't be invaded by 3 people there.
Oh.
He had 2 people with him and was invaded.
Okay.
So the person who invaded is playing the game.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I am belying my lack of knowledge of that side of the game. Okay, moving on.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty obscure side of the game. It's just like emergent gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube nonsense.
Yeah. That definitely could be. It also could be a way for him to gather test subjects. I mean, you know, he gets Logan, which is a pretty huge get for him. I mean, Logan is a rival for him. I mean, as, you know, revealed by the fact that later Logan learns his signature breath move, right?
Well, he doesn't get Logan here. He gets Logan once Logan gets to the Duke's archives. Here, when he finds Logan, he just locks him up.
No. Logan, like, you know, he locks him up and sends, but Logan, you know, is only gotten once he, you know, pours through his tomes, right? Like, Logan is only gotten once he's dead. Once Seath is dead.
No, Logan. No, that's not true. So I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to Duke's archives.
Yeah.
And I'll cut this out. Just I gave myself a pause. Logan, when you first get to Duke's archives, Logan is captured. So you let Logan out of here. He goes to Duke's archives and gets captured again.
Yeah, he's in that prison where you are. After Seath kills you, he's downstairs in the prison area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my first playthrough was fucked up because the way that I experienced that, like, you know, he wasn't there. And ultimately, you know, Logan going mad was, you know, in the library itself. You buy all the spells, and then he goes up to where you first fight Seath.
You might not have seen him when you were first there. You don't have to let him out of the prison. You can. He can get out on his own from that prison, but that's where he's at. He's in the area with all the Picassos, which, like, when I did that in the Let's Play, I kept calling them mimosas because I couldn't remember what they're called. He's in the area of the Duke's archives that's full of mimosas.
Okay.
The brunchatorium.
Those are actually like direct D&D Grick monsters. Like, so it's kind of weird to see them call something else because they look exactly like Gricks do from D&D. So
I don't know the Picassos.
Yes.
I don't know if I know a Grick.
It looks just like that.
Huh.
That's all there is to it. That thing, but in your imagination.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I'll have to look that up. I bet you, like, every D&D monster is a great Google image search. So.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, side note, the Tower Knight almost made me quit Demon Souls when I was new to it. Because I went straight there from the first easy boss, and that was a big change in difficulty, so... That was my almost stopping point for this series.
I'm glad it didn't happen.
Me too.
Was he the boss of 1-1 or 1-2? I forget.
1-2.
1-2.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. He's tough. I mean, like, I wish I'm doing my melee playthrough of Demon Souls now. I wish I hadn't done my first one with sorcery because it makes everything so easy.
Yeah.
Because now it's like one of the things I'm realizing about Demon Souls is that the levels are longer and it's a little bit less giving with shortcuts. So I'm running into these bosses, dying oftentimes, and having to make longer trips back than I would have to in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And I died against the Tower Knight the first time I tried to melee him. He's tough to melee. Like, you can do it. Like, it's definitely doable, but it is really tricky.
That's such a long run up to him too.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts or anything. You just do
Right.
the entire bridge again.
Blah.
So
Yeah.
yay.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you for saying that stupid thing we say.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
I couldn't break tradition now. It's too late.
Yeah.
You couldn't what?
Or repeat what you said for Cole.
You couldn't what now?
Oh, I'd be a pariah if I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get crucified for it.
I would, absolutely.
Just on Monday though. Just between me and Nick.
Yeah.
We got a powerful ally in Courtney though.
I'm telling you, man. Glass of green tea and a liter of seltzer.
Yeah. It's a wonder that you'll never get. It's no wonder that you'll never get a
kidney
urine
stone.
stone. Yeah, kidney stone.
A urine stone. I don't ever want to encounter a urine stone, Gary.
Mm-mm. No. It's like the worst upgrade material in Demon Stones.
Oh no.
Or in Demon Souls.
Demon Stone.
Yeah.
The game that we can't shake.
Yeah. Hey man, we got to do it. That'll be our dark horse that we do.
Which one, Darkstone or Demon Stone, or is it a hybrid?
I don't even know. I can't even remember.
Who are you? What am I doing here?
And we all pray that we will have far more soon